Hi everyone, welcome back and happy holidays. In today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at how to crochet these adorable Christmas gnomes. Let's jump in. To get started with this project, you'll only need a few skills under your belt. You'll need to know how to chain, you'll need to know how to center single crochet, which is not that much harder than regular single crochet. You'll also need to know how to slip stitch, how to make a magic circle, how to increase, which is putting 2 stitches in 1 stitch space, and then how to decrease, which is bringing 2 stitches together. These should be skills that are in any crocheter's toolkit. If you are not familiar with one of these skills, I do have many tutorials available. I have a tutorial covering every one of those things. So I'll be sure to link in the description box below if you're needing help, and I'll also be sure to put it in the video as it arises. You can just click right over if you're needing some extra help with those stitches. I love Christmas gnomes. I think that they're completely adorable. I love gnomes all time of year, but I really like them during Christmas because they remind me of Santa Claus. Americans have absolutely made them cuter than their original. Christmas gnomes are based off of Scandinavian folklore. They're based off of a creature called a Nisse, and the Nisse represents the spirit of the first farmer who lived on the land that you currently dwell. So in Scandinavian countries, there's a Nisse in every home, and on Christmas Eve, typically the family will go and feed the Nisse a bowl of Christmas porridge as an offering. I'll try to get a video. There's a really cute video of the Queen of Denmark actually like bringing her little bowl of porridge to the Nisse, which I thought was super cute. So we don't do that here in America. Maybe we could one day, but they're mostly just decoration. Like I said, I absolutely love them. I have way too many gnomes in my house. Anyway, let's jump in and look at how to do this. The yarn you'll be needing is Basic Stitch by Lion Brand. Obviously, he's completely customizable. You can make him whatever color you want. So I chose, I believe this one is olive, and then we've got red heather, silver heather, I can't remember his nose, almond for the nose. This one's got a mahogany nose. And there's other colors, right? Like he would look really cute bluish, or like blue and white, like snowflakes, or, you know, there's lots of different customizable ways to make these little guys. Let's see. Oh yeah, another thing about the yarn is that Basic Stitch is the same yarn as Skein Tone. So when you go to pick his nose, you can pick whatever color you want, which I thought was really fun. There's lots of beautiful options available there. Okay, I think that's it. I think it's time for us to jump into the pattern. Let's get started.
Supplies you'll need for the pattern include about 4 skeins of 4-weight acrylic yarn in the colors that you like. You'll need an H hook, scissors, a small amount of polyfill, and a small piece of cardboard. Notes for the pattern are that I always slip stitch from the wrong side of the fabric when working in the round, and I'll show you how to do that. We're going to be doing things a little bit differently in this tutorial. A lot of crochet tutorials, including mine, seem kind of needlessly long. So while I'm going to be going over each step, I'm going to summarize rather than show you every single stitch. The pattern for this project, as well as many other free crochet patterns and tutorials, can be found on my blog. You can find the link for that in the description box below. So we're beginning with a magic circle. Again, I'm going to be linking to tutorials if you don't know how to do this already. Into the magic circle, we're going to put 6 single crochet stitches. All right, so now I've got my 6 stitches in. I'm just tightening it up so everything's closer together. Now I'm going to be slip stitching from the wrong side of my work. So that just means I've flipped it over to where the tail is on the side that I'm looking at directly. I'm going to put my hook through the first stitch that I created, and then I'm going to grab the loop of the working yarn and pull it through. I normally like to pinch it through with my fingers when using this method. It puts less pressure on the yarn, it seems like, for me. Okay, so now I flipped it back over. We end round 1 by chaining 1, and then round 2 gets an increase in each stitch around. For the remainder of the pattern, we're using center single crochet. If you've never worked with this stitch before, I recommend heading over to my other tutorial. I'm going to just briefly pop up a still frame from that one so that you can see exactly where in the stitch we are putting our hook. So again, round 2 is just an increase in each stitch around. We're then going to slip stitch to join, and you can see here how I flipped my work over, and I'm doing the same thing where I'm just going in from the back side, pulling the working yarn through, and then turning my work back over before I begin again. So now I'm going to adjust the tension to my hook and then chain 1. Now I'm on to round 3. So in this round, what we're going to do is we're going to do 1 center single crochet in the next stitch. You can see I'm being careful just to hit the exact center of the stitch. And then increase in the next stitch. So that's the repeat for this round. It's 1 center single crochet and then an increase. And you continue that all the way around. I'm sure many of you at this point have noticed that we're following the formula to create a flat, even circle. What we're doing is slowly increasing the number of stitches in each round so that we can grow our circle evenly. Here's the pattern in written and chart form. Feel free to pause it here and take a look at this, but don't forget that I do have linked in the description box below the full pattern that you'll need to complete this project. There you'll also find charts as well as other helpful resources like all of the tutorials that we need to complete this project. In round 4, we work 1 center single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. We then increase in the following stitch, repeat around, slip stitch to join, and then chain 1. In round 5, we'll do 3 center single crochet, then an increase. In round 6, we'll do 4 and then an increase. And then in round 7, we'll do 5 and then an increase. And this is how we evenly work up a circle. We space out our increases so that it grows equally all around. For round 8, we're going to be putting 1 single crochet into the back loop only. So you'll notice that I said single crochet rather than center single crochet, and that's because during this round we switch directions. So by working into the back loop only, you're unable to work into the center part of the stitch. We therefore need to be working single crochet so that we can begin working on the height of the gnome. To close off this round, we're going to slip stitch as we've been doing, and then we're going to chain 1. For rounds 9 through 19, really straightforward, we're going to be doing just 1 center single crochet into each stitch around. We'll be slip stitching to join as we have been, and then we're going to chain 1. Go ahead and work round 20, and then when you get to the end of that round, at the last stitch, you change color. If you're unfamiliar with how to do this technique, don't worry because I have an extremely clear video using easy to see, light color, chunky yarn, and then another highly contrasting yarn. So check out the tutorial if you've never done this before. I wanted to keep this part in because you can so clearly see what's happening with the slip stitch. So I'm going in through the first stitch from the back side. I'm then pulling the loop of the working yarn through. and then I'm just going to turn my work back over and work as normal. Right there, I took my hook off so that the yarn wasn't twisted. I like to make it easy on myself, and I feel like that helps with tension. For rounds 21 through 22, you're going to do 1 center single crochet into each stitch around, and then we're going to slip stitch to join and chain 1. For round 23, we're going to begin our decreases. This is where we begin to create the cone shape of his hat. So I've just worked 1 center single crochet in each of the last 5 stitches, and now I'm just doing a decrease stitch. I'm then going to repeat that all the way around. We'll then slip stitch to join and chain 1. For rounds 24 through 25, we're going to do 1 center single crochet into each stitch around again. For round 26, we're going to do 1 center single crochet into each of the next 4 stitches, and then we'll decrease. We're going to slip stitch to join and chain 1. For rounds 27 through 28, we're going to do 1 center single crochet into each stitch around. We'll then slip stitch to join and chain 1. At this point in the pattern, we're going to take a quick pause and we're going to crochet his nose. That's really simple. We're just going to repeat rounds 1 through 2. And then for round 3, we're going to do 1 center single crochet into each stitch around. Now let's make a small base for the gnome by tracing the diameter of it onto a small piece of cardboard. We'll then just cut it out and place it inside, and that will help keep him nice and flat. I know that I want my seam to be at the back, so what I've done here is I've placed the seam where I want it to go, folded the piece in half, and marked the stitch that was in the center aligned with the seam. I'm now going to attach the nose of the gnome, and you can see I've got that here, and I'm just going to place it right in between the color change. You can go a little bit lower. I wouldn't recommend going higher, but just somewhere there. So now I've got just a little bit of polyfill inside of the nose to give it shape. And what I'm doing is I'm using the tail end just to kind of cross over the polyfill, and that really helps to make a nice round nose shape, and it also holds the polyfill into place while we are stitching it down. So you can see that there, looking good, and now I'm just going to hold it up against the body of the gnome. I really want to be sure that this is centered. So again, you can see the back seam here, and I'm just going to get that centered, and then I'm going to pinch it in half, and I'm going to mark what looks like the center of the piece. Now you can also see the decreases are right there in the center, so that's looking good to me. Now I'm just going to carefully stitch this into place. I want to make sure to do this in a way that's not messy or very noticeable. And to do that, what I'm going to do is just kind of go a little bit under the nose, and then I'm going to work through the edge of the nose. Just making sure that I'm catching the piece of yarn that is closest to the inside of the nose. Next up, we need to cut the beard hair for the gnome, and we're going to do that the way we would do fringe or tassels, just by wrapping the yarn around a book. That's the length that we want the yarn to be. We then cut the yarn, and we're left with long lengths that we're going to use to attach to the gnome. To attach the beard to the gnome, we begin by pushing our hook through the fabric. We then want to loop the long threads that we created to the inside of the gnome. While the yarn is on the inside, we're going to make a couple knots. Just double knot it. And then if you pull on the free end of those strands, the knot will prevent it from getting pulled through. So this is a great way to attach hair to any project, whether it's for a doll or something like this. I'm making sure I'm holding 3 strands of yarn first of all, and then I'm also making sure to go into the center of the stitches where we've been doing our center single crochet, but I'm also making sure to do fewer strands in between the stitches, and that helps to create the bulk of the beard, which I think is much nicer than just going through the center of the stitches. So really be sure to fill that space up as you're attaching the hair. I made sure to go all along the bottom of the nose. I put some extra stitches kind of up above and into the red color. Really played around with the thickness of the hair. And I just wanted to show you here, you can pull the yarn with the hook coming from the outside to the inside. So either way works just as long as you create that knot on the inside of the gnome, which will prevent it from getting pulled through. And you can see here, I've got mine looking fantastic. Just for ease, I put a little bit of extra yarn around the bottom of his beard so it wasn't flailing around. I gave him a little haircut. I'm going to stick those ends that came off into it so I'm not wasting polyfill. One thing I want to point out is that I'm not stuffing the polyfill to the very top as I work along. I like it to be well below the level at which I'm crocheting because that prevents the polyfill from getting stuck into the stitches. So definitely fill it as you go, but don't fill it to the top as you go. You can stuff it at the end. So now we're getting started on round 29. To work up this round, we're going to do 1 center single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. We're then going to decrease. We'll slip stitch to join and then chain 1. For rounds 30 through 32, we're going to do 1 center single crochet into each stitch around. We'll then slip stitch to join and chain 1. For round 33, we're going to do 1 center single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. We're then going to decrease. We're going to repeat that around, then slip stitch to join and chain 1. For rounds 34 through 36, we're going to do 1 center single crochet into each round, slip stitch to join and chain 1. For round 37, we're going to do 1 center single crochet into the next stitch, then we're going to decrease. We're going to repeat that around, do a slip stitch to join and chain 1. For rounds 38 through 39, we're going to do 1 center single crochet into each stitch around, slip stitch to join and then chain 1. For round 40, we're going to decrease. We're then going to repeat that all the way around, slip stitch to join and chain 1. For round 41, we're going to put 1 center single crochet into each stitch around, slip stitch to join and chain 1. And for round 42, we're going to do 1 center single crochet into each stitch around and then slip stitch to join. And that will finish up the gnome or the Nisse, the Tomte, Timote, no, just kidding. The Nisse, that's my favorite one. Let me know how you guys feel about this format. Like I said, I feel like a lot of crochet tutorials are just so long. It's really painstaking to make many hour-long videos. I'm not complaining, but I wonder how useful they are. You know, I can see where people stop watching the videos, and I'm wondering if they need to be as long as they are. So please comment below if you're a beginner who's extremely frustrated and angry at watching this. I'm sorry. Like I have said many old times, I have the tutorials you need to establish the skills necessary to follow along with this tutorial. My intention was not for this to be a tutorial where a beginner could begin their crochet journey here, but if you have, welcome. And if this is working well for intermediate crocheters or people who are familiar with this craft, I would like to continue doing it like this. Maybe more smooth. Let me know what you want. Okay, guys? Okay, I love you. I hope that you love this gnome. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. If you want to be very sweet, please give me the Christmas gift of liking and subscribing. See you guys in the next video.